Recording in progress.
Jump inside the sub.
And buckle on in.
Open your mind.
Because it's time to dive into
2, 1.
The deep end.
The deep end.
Welcome to the deep end.
The deep end.
The deep end, bro.
Yeah, brah, deep end.
It's deep, man.
Too deep, brah. Hello, guys. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Stephanie.
Welcome to our shit show.
Thank you for being here, tuning in with us on our shit show. Our shit show.
It's time for a vibe check.
Vibe check.
It's a vibe.
Vibes all day.
I'm digging your vibe, baby.
Okay, so my card for the day, I am pulling from the Rebel deck, the Oracle with Attitude. And the card I pulled is Take a Fucking Trip. Go see some shit, do some new things, and go talk to people that are cooler than you.
Nice. Yes, that would be.
That's awesome.
Yes, I would love to go take a trip and talk to people cooler than me.
I'm ready.
Woo! Okay, the card that I drew is the Unseen, and without even reading the description, it's actually funny to me because I don't know, the theme of these cards lately have been very telling. Like,
Yeah.
the universe is trying to tell us something. So this one is the Unseen. It is the spirit, the ancestor, the eternal. The Unseen is just as it sounds. We cannot see it, yet it sees us, watching and waiting with wisdom, both kind and instructive. We feel it, this presence, sense it, intuit it, and then doubt its existence. Although it rallies our attention time and time again, the energy of the unseen may come in many forms: a compelling dream, a sudden insight, a clear voice, a vision or message from a loved one who has passed to the other side. It is It is natural to fear these communications as they challenge our perception of what is real. When this card appears, your guides are near, the eternal is present, the doorway between the world is ajar. The sounds may seem as though they come from a distant land, but they call from your innermost chambers.
Whoa, dude. That's
Whoa.
crazy. Deep, man.
Deep, Being graced by the unseen is a gift. Treat it kindly. Allow yourself to be seen by eternal eyes. You know, it's funny. The part that spoke to me the hardest was how it's like, it's watching and waiting with wisdom, both kind and instructive. You can feel the presence, sense it, intuit it, and then you doubt its existence. It's like we go through these channeling sessions and get all these answers and these synchronicities that align with it, and like the healing that takes place. And I'm still gaslighting myself the hardest that I've ever gaslit myself in my life. Like, it is intense. Like, I'm being drawn to these channeling shows on Gaia, and I was gripped by it. It was like a tractor beam, and it was like they were talking about, you just have to believe, like, it is real, like, believe that it's real. I have the chills right now. But yeah, it's like that's the half the battle is just believing, like, your intuition is right, and what you feel, the stuff that makes you feel good, and it sparks something in you, like that's your inner knowing, and you got to trust that shit.
Well, that goes right along with always following your highest inspiration or your highest excitement, kind of like what Bashar says, because that's how they communicate with you. They send you energy, and that energy translates in our body as excitement or a pull to something or being sucked into something. So that's really cool once you start to recognize that feeling and follow it, that it really can just get you way more aligned with your path and put you in the way of having really great information and knowledge to help you on your path.
Exactly. I was texting Max and I did not hear what you said, so I don't know how to react to what you said. The weed mixed with being a mom, it's like, ugh, Jesus. Anyway.
So we kind of gave a cliffhanger the last episode and told you guys that we were going to tell you a little bit more about what we found out in the channeling session about the war between Maldec and Mars.
That was like insane how that happened, by the way, because I don't know, sometimes these universe questions make me nervous. Like I thought they can just give you images and pictures and you can just say it and learn something new, but like your brain literally has to relate something. They can tell you something, but your brain is what is limiting you in the vision, you know? I can't
Right.
explain it. It's like you're only given what your brain can process because your
But
soul
also,
can process the information, but your brain, it's you got to circumvent your brain, you
yeah.
know? So yeah, that was really crazy. Like I was not expecting how that came out. Like we didn't even ask about that shit. Like we were asking about my war lives.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's interesting how a lot of times we stumble upon information because we're asking questions about other things. And that's been the case of a lot of discoveries that we've made. And if you are not asking questions, then you're not going to get answers. So that's one thing that we've been learning a lot in the sessions is you have to ask the deep questions to get the deep answers.
And a lot of the times the answers don't come in the ways that you expect.
So yeah, we had just got done exploring Stephanie's past life as a samurai warrior, and we were asking about how many lifetimes she's had in battle. And she kind of tapped into each one individually and was kind of listing them off. And the final one was in battle between Maldec and Mars.
Yeah, that was crazy because like you and I were already kind of talking about it a little bit, and then you found that Maldek mention from Bashar and sent that to me. So we were kind of like interested in it and wanted to ask about it in a session, but we never really went into it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at all these lives, and then all of a sudden I see the word Maldek, and I was like, shut up. And then you were like, a war with Maldek. I was like, I was there or something. I can't remember what I said. And then you were like, well, who's the war with? But like, I kept seeing the word Mars, and it got
Mm-hmm.
louder and louder and stronger because I didn't want to say it right away. But then you asked it, and I was like, oh my God. And I was like, dude. And then we learned all of what we learned about it. Like, it was like, because, okay, I got to back this up. I did this one past life reading years ago. I paid this person and asked her for like, it was just like a $10, you know, wowie couple paragraphs of something. But she told me about this life I lived on another planet, and I was very joyful and happy, and I danced around a lot. It was very like a very beautiful, happy place. But like the planet was destroyed by like greed and for its resources, and there was a war and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay. And then I went down that Maldek rabbit hole that I was telling you about. It's just crazy to stumble on that shit because what's funny is I didn't like I was wanting to see what it really looked like there, but it literally looked like some shit out of fucking Star Wars. Like that's all I could relate it to. Like there was a lot of like laser type of guns or not or like I don't know what the fuck you would call those guns, but it was very, yeah, it was
Like
weird.
advanced technology and stuff.
Yeah, it was like light and stuff. I don't know. It was weird. And then
Mm-hmm.
like I looked human, like a humanoid kind of thing, but I had like there were differences to my nose, like the bridge of my nose had lines on it. And then
Mm.
my ears looked different too. Like the way my head was shaped into my ears, that looked different. But like I still
And your hands, right? You had you
no,
couldn't tell how,
that was on another planet. I was
oh, that was
aquatic
Venus.
as well. Yeah, I was
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
aquatic as well. Like I could live on land, but I could swim, and I couldn't tell how many fingers I had. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's
But
right. Yeah.
it's funny because the colors that I saw from that life are the colors that I love to paint with. Like the colors of my skin in that life. Like it's like the aqua blues, the purples, the like the aqua greens and stuff. Like those are
In
my
the Venus
favorite.
life.
Those are my favorite colors to start a painting with. And like I add, you know, all the accent colors around that, you know, but yeah, those are my favorite ones
Mm-hmm.
to start with.
Yeah, we also found that Stephanie likes to incarnate on Venus for peaceful and happy lives.
Yeah, I go there
And
for inspiration.
yeah, yeah. And it's a higher vibration. So it's really lush and beautiful. But there's a slightly different plants and animals there just because it's a different vibration. And yeah, she had the ability to swim. She had webbing in her fingers, and it was pretty neat to listen to the descriptions of that.
Yeah, it was really cool. There was this chick that I was reading and I opened up to she had a life there and that surprised me. That was the first time I had anybody on any other planet, you know, and that it was but of course it's possible to have lives on other planets because it's like, you know, there's so many other planets, you know what I mean? Like of course there's some that are just like here. So yeah, but it was just like, I don't know, that was like my first time really broadening my horizons that way. It was really fascinating. Like it looked so freaking beautiful. And that's when I started to try to paint what I was seeing because I just loved the colors. And that's when I started changing my color palette and my painting started getting more bright and had a lot more color. Was after that reading when I saw all those colors. I was like, damn. Like
And
it's
knowing
so
what we know
beautiful.
now, I bet you had probably a connection to that person, or maybe they were brought to you because of your connection to Venus.
I know,
But
right? Yeah.
Mhm. But usually that's something that I have found out in this work is that your clients that come to you are coming to you for a reason. And oftentimes it is because they have some sort of connection with you.
Yeah, I saw that for both of us. In fact, I feel like it's just people, they're karmic. Either it's good karma or you're just trying to clear karma, you know, like just kind of wrap shit up. And also sometimes like it's even just to see if like they're okay. Like sometimes you had a best friend who
Right.
died tragically in a past life and it's like there's time like when I first started reading people, especially my friends, I always open to lives that we lived together first. And I'm wondering if my higher self did that so that I had something to relate it to, because the way I know how you channel now, it's like maybe I couldn't go to something where I wasn't there. Yeah, like it makes so much more sense now because it's like the people that I read, I have connections to them. And I think our higher selves are trying to show us like, yes, you have a connection. And because there's times where I have ran into people that they passed tragically and it really it affected me, and I've met them in this life where they're older and I could see that they've lived a full life and that they're didn't die young and it's okay and they're okay, you know, like sometimes that, and I've seen that happen for other people too. In fact, I've told people that like this was my experience, so perhaps that's what it is for you too, you know. And so, which is a beautiful thing, you know, because like life is precious and the shit you hold on to, like, yeah, I joke all the time about how hard I can disassociate and how much I do disassociate. I mean, my higher self told me straight up, you disassociate a little too much, but it's like you still feel stuff. Things still affect you, like little things in life that you don't think bother you, like you really do carry some of the little things with you. Like if someone died tragically and it pains you, or someone died slowly and it hurt you, like, you know, you'll probably have a connection to them in another life to just know that they're okay, or you have a chance to have a better go at the contract.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. And it makes me wonder if, like, do we have little contracts with each person that ends up seeking us out for sessions or readings
Right?
or things
Yeah.
like that? And it makes me almost want to ask in every session, which I'm not going to, but I've got to the point where I ask in almost every session of friends of mine what our past connection is, because I haven't really found anyone who I haven't had at least some sort of past connection with, at least on my friends level.
Yeah.
And then even people that I didn't really know, kind of like how we had our first session together and we didn't know we had so many past lives, and it, you know, kind of unlocked all of that.
Well, and it's
But
cool because I think that is such a cool fucking way that we chose to come together in this life. Because, like,
yeah,
I have literally been seeking out a damn past life regression for years. I've been wanting it so badly. And I think it's just like I was ready to start living my purpose. I think that's really what I wanted so badly, is to just, because I think once all that clicked into place, like now this is starting to click into place and it's like exciting to see how everything's
yeah,
changing for us, you know, and it's so much fun. And I just
yeah,
love that. I think it's such a creative way for us to come together in this life.
yeah. But one of the things that really stood out to me about when you were describing Venus was that the vibration that it's attuned to is the vibration of love, which I
Yeah.
think is really beautiful because
Because
that's not something we're really used to here on
well,
this
and what
earth.
I also saw was that souls go there kind of like a soul rehabilitation kind of place. Like if you're coming, like I've come off of the like tragic lives and gone there for healing. I go there for inspiration for because my soul and color are just like that's like all I love and all I care about apparently is color and then playing with color in this life. But it's like I was told I went to Venus before this life for inspiration because I'm a painter now. And so, yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
like a lot of souls, they do, yeah, they go there for healing mainly because it's a source healing planet kind of thing. It's beauty, it's peaceful. It's not a place you go to violently or there's violent things that happen. Like that's not, because not every planet is a planet that you go to clear stuff up. Like the ones you clear stuff up in are the gnarly, yeah, like Earth, school, and like there's others like Earth that are, yeah. I keep hearing that like they always say, oh, this one's the hardest, this one's the toughest. I'm like, I'm sure every Earth says that about themselves. Like,
Right.
how can you really know that, you know? But like, but then again, like I'm sure in channeling sessions they say stuff like that, but I don't know how much I believe that. I feel like there's still other planets where you can get deep meaning and experience out of. But yeah, Venus isn't one where you go to experience anything other than peace and love and tranquility. And so it's kind of like a place like in between lives to just chill.
Yeah, I love that. I want to go on vacation there.
I know, right?
Like right now.
Let's
Like,
match
can
our
I just book a
vibration to
flight?
their, I know, let's
Yeah.
match our vibration to their dimension. What dimension are you in? The sixth or seventh? I don't know. It can't be too much higher because I mean each planet has its own resonant frequency. And so Venus is higher than Earth, but it's
hmm
but
And
yeah,
that
so
was because it's closer to the sun, right?
yeah, that's what I was told. Yeah.
hmm
So I was like, okay, that's cool. Because like the solar flares, they try to make it out. You literally have to think about life as being opposite day. Because it's literally everything you're told, it just do the opposite. Okay.
hmm
Like,
So we asked about the whole conspiracy theory about whether or not the Northern Lights were manipulated, and Stephanie found out some interesting stuff about that.
the solar flares and the solar storm, all that was real. I felt like they were like trying to dull it because I was wondering why we can't see it with our eyes, and it was because it wasn't at its full potential. It wasn't at its full like, glean or whatever you want to call it. It's because they were just dulling it because it did bring energy that they didn't want us to have. And
Right.
they being the secret alien race that really rules the world.
Yeah. And I was under the impression that the conspiracies were that they were magnifying it, and that's why we were able to see them like lower down than we normally can in the continent and stuff. So to find out that they were actually trying to make it less because they didn't want that healing energy that's being sent our way from the sun with the intention of helping us raise our vibration, they don't want us to receive that energy. So to dull it down, basically.
Yeah, because the propaganda you hear about the sun is just that, it's just propaganda. Like I have seen like, or at least I was shown like a lot of the stuff that comes off of the sun is very healing. It's just energy. It's solar energy because it's the life force of our planet. I mean, hello, everything needs its energy to thrive. I mean, you even get vitamins off that bitch, you know? And
hmm
so to put sunscreen on and dull its effects, like I have a whole conspiracy of my own about sunscreen.
I hate sunscreen.
I
I
don't
always
wear
have
it.
hated
I
it.
haven't ever worn it. I've never worn sunscreen. I don't wear it. Like sometimes I'll wear it on my face because I baby my hair and my face skin. I sometimes used to wear it on my face, but now I just wear a hat, If I
Yeah,
don't
me
want the
too.
sun on my face, I just wear a
It
hat.
makes my face burn. If I put any kind of sunblock on, my face literally just feels like it's burning off, like even not in the sun, like even in the
I
shade.
get those
I
white
hate
spots
it.
on my skin. Like I get white
Yeah.
spots on my skin all the time if I wear that. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really got them, but now that I think about it, I don't really get them as an adult. But yeah, I mean, granted, I was in the sun all the time when I was a teenager. I was so brown.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And I didn't really burn as much. Now that I'm older, I
I don't.
burn a lot worse, but
Oh, I don't burn. I usually now it's like I'll get like one good burn a season if I'm like really out in the sun. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't usually burn, which is cool. But Yeah.
With me though, now that I have a sleeve on one side and then my other arm, I'm working on another sleeve. The last couple times I went to Mexico and spent a week out in the sun, if I didn't put sunblock on my tattoos, they would come back with like a really weird, they would almost like turn into a bunch of little bumps and like raise up. And I know that
Oh my God,
that's
mine do that. Like sometimes I'll get sections of the ink that itch really bad and it raises up and stuff. I know.
and I know that has to do with dehydration, but this is like also like it was like a sun thing. It was like
Well, I've heard
it
the
was
sun
awful.
dulls your ink because now that I'm looking at my
Yeah,
arm
yeah.
tattoo, like a lot of my flowers and my lines are like
Mm-hmm.
they're black, but they're like gray black.
Right.
But
So
yeah.
I actually have been, and then especially if I go with a fresher tattoo, like less than 6 months old, it will like burn if I'm out in the sun. So then I'll put a tiny bit of sunblock, but like just on that spot, you know?
Yeah,
But yeah, overall, I really, really dislike it. I don't trust it. I don't know.
I don't either.
I've never really liked it.
Well,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't trust it either. I really don't. I've always just kind of avoided. There's just certain things in life that I've avoided naturally. I'm just not drawn to it. And then I go through conspiracy circles and go down rabbit holes and I find out the truth about these
Yeah.
things that I'm avoiding. And I'm like, oh, well, cool. That was an intuitive thing. And so I
Yeah.
really do trust the shit I read because that's the way the universe is answering you. Like, yes, you're right. This is, yeah, we're trying to make you avoid this for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I feel the same way. It's certain things that I like really distrust, and then suddenly, like 10 years later, you see like, did you use this product? If so,
You could
there's
be
a
entitled to
settlement waiting for
financial.
you.
I know that's what I'm
Yeah.
like. Damn it, I missed out on my financial compensation. But
Yeah. Or yeah, definitely finding out things later that totally confirm it. Do we want to tell them about Project Bluebeam?
Yeah. I don't know though. I don't know if we should talk about that big finding though. That's insane. Like that is insane.
Maybe we'll just tuck that in our back pocket.
Time for
Okay.
a big hit. A big
hit.
We also wanted to let you guys know that if you have any questions about what we talk about, if there's anything that you want to know about the universe, email us at the deependpodcast2024@gmail.com.
Yeah,
Yay!
totally. We'll do our best to answer your questions and it'll be fun.
You know, bump your questions to the front of the line and let you guys know what we come up with. I think that would be a lot of fun to see what other people want to know, you know, outside of the stuff we already want to know.
Yeah, send us your deep questions, man.
Your deep, dark questions, bro.
We'll deep dive.
Deep into your brain, man.
Into the depths of your soul.
Dude, it's funny. I've been like seeing so many correlations now with that one. Like I'm like listening to it more and I'm like starting to understand like the whole channeling process as well as like it's a lot of it is about
Record.
feeling. Like I should have taken into account how a lot of those scenes felt you know,
Mm-hmm.
in the moment because I was really frustrated the whole time. And I think I was frustrated because the visions were so dull and it was really hard to get the information. But I think the frustration was how I felt in that life. I was really
Yeah.
frustrated with
Mm-hmm.
everything in my life.
Which makes
And
sense.
oh yeah. And like I grabbed because I kept the cards from my full moon. That was really heavy. Of course I was so fucking angry. Like it all
Right.
and it kind of puts in perspective too, like people who are really gung-ho about battle, like what are they really there for? Like what are they working through?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, because that's funny because I was just thinking about my full moon cards like an hour ago.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's weird, you know, like you don't really think about that. And you actually would have had to go back in time specifically to fight that battle.
Yeah, just like learning about these lives and stuff. It's just like, I don't know. It makes me, I've just been thinking about it a lot today because I was like, maybe I missed stuff. Like maybe we should go back in and like see what the fuck else is there. But at the end, I was saying how like I don't like all the battle stuff, like I don't care about that. Like I'm not holding on to that. It's not a trauma locked up tight.
it's a shame, like a deep shame for
Mm-hmm.
raising my hand to my family and like the people
Right.
who love me. And that's what it is. It's not because like that one life is like deep trauma, and like a violent trauma. And this one isn't violence. It's just a life following violence. And yeah, and like the shame from that. Because like I don't feel like I went around beating everybody. I think I just like every now and then like smacked people.
Right, right. But I mean, yeah, you also have to keep in mind with what you were dealing with in that life too, and you've come a long way since then, and you probably learned from that, like the shame from because you felt that shame in that life too. You
Uh-huh.
knew you felt bad, and but that's like the one thing that could get through to you or something, like you
Yeah.
learned from it. It served a purpose, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It served kind of like Bashar says, it served a purpose to know that that's not who you are.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to experience that, unfortunately.
It's so weird, like all the synchronicities. And you know what was crazy is during the retrograde, I did hit up one of my exes. Like, I don't know why. Like, I reached out to him and because I wanted to show him my art, and then like a few days later, we went into the murder life. That was that
Mm,
session. Yeah, that was that
wow.
session. And
So
like
that was
shit
just like
about, yeah.
a synchronicity, like you knew or something, like little signs and stuff that
Yeah,
happen.
it was nuts. Yeah, like it was like I was kind of calling out to him maybe to shut that door or that chapter, or I don't know, maybe even just to like it was showing me that this is linked. I don't know, because right before this session, I drove through fucking rice paddies.
I know, that was so funny.
I know, it was so funny. And at the time, I was like, huh, I didn't know those grew here. That's kind of funny. And I did think about when Bentley was like, bowing to me with his hands up and stuff. I was like, huh, I wonder if this is in relation to that life because I kind of feel like it has to do with Japan. And that's all that I got from that. But
It's crazy
yeah.
how things like that happen, though, especially with the past life
Oh,
regressions.
the night before my past life regression, the first one, I never said this to you, but the first one, I was loading things in my car and this line came into my head where I was like, I feel like my parents have money, but I don't. And I was
Mm.
literally at my parents' 20-acre ranch because yes, they do have money and I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was just like this weird thing that I said. And I said that in the fucking regression. I said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, and I thought it's funny, like all these things happen right before the regret. So I don't know, maybe it is a
Uh-huh.
synchronicity that it's real. This is real. Like everything's, you
Yeah,
know.
my teacher, like, I think our very first class that in our training, she was like, the synchronicities are gonna blow your guys' mind, just so you know. Heads
I
up.
know, it's so
And it
crazy.
happens all the time.
Yes, it's so fucking crazy. Like, oh, I
The
love it.
I didn't know anything about Lemuria or Atlantis or Shasta or Telos at all.
Yeah,
And
me
then
neither
I
until you
went
told me about
down.
that session.
Yeah. So I randomly went down a rabbit hole one night, and I don't even know why I went down a rabbit hole, but it was like a Facebook reel rabbit hole of Mount
Uh-huh.
Shasta, Lumeria, and Telos. The very next day was the session where we found out she regressed to a different life, but that's where we found out that my friend had a life in Lumeria and was in a battle, and they were heading to the safe place, and the safe place ended up being Mount Shasta. And because I had gone down that rabbit hole the night before, I knew exactly what she was talking about when she was talking about it. But I would
Nice.
have had no idea at all.
And you probably wouldn't have been able to direct the fucking thing in the first place. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The questioning. Yeah, you would have never known what to question about.
She had a question at the end that said, why have I been having dreams of flying over rivers of lava? And
Oh,
then, so it was at the end of the session, and then suddenly she, bam, went into that life and immediately saw herself flying over the lava. And then, like, almost immediately started crying because she was like back there.
wow.
And the trauma of, she's like, so many people died and all this stuff. So then we planned another session later to do an actual regression into that lifetime.
Yeah.
And
That is
so, yeah.
so fucking cool. Have you
Yeah.
done that one yet or no? Or
Yeah,
that was
that
when you
the audio for that is actually on YouTube, and it turned out that I actually had a shared incarnation with her. I was there
Yeah,
as
that's the
well.
one. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. You know what
But
we
we
should
didn't know that
do?
at the time.
I know, that's so crazy. Like because like yesterday when we were like, okay, so how many wars did you fight in?
Right.
And I was like, well, I fought here and I fought here. And I'm like, freaking Maldec, okay. Like we should go through the portal with that one.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. We're
I
totally
know.
gonna.
Yeah, we're totally gonna. I cannot believe that because that was the first rabbit hole I ever went down because I bought the Great Awakening poster and there's like a bajillion rabbit holes on that motherfucker because I got this poster because I follow the Instagram page and it's basically just like, the Great Awakening and like awakenings, to what's really going on as well as like, spiritually and stuff. And they have all kinds of topics. In fact, let me see, because I was just looking at it one night and I was like, how do I have this poster and I don't know any of this stuff? Bashar is
Mm.
on there. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's Bashar. But there's the age of the golden race, the age of Aquarius, optimal timeline reality, the light body ascension. But Maldec was the first one that I went down. That was the first rabbit hole that I went down was Maldec. I just saw it on the map and I decided to Google it. And yeah, there's Mars on here too. The
Hmm.
ancient builder race. There's oh yeah, how to escape samsara, which is basically the wheel of karma, deal with your shit.
Mm.
That's how you exit it.
Right, right.
But yeah, there's Ceres, Dark Fleet Underground Base. Say what? Because in astrology, Ceres is an asteroid. That's interesting that Ceres is on here because I know that through astrology.
Hmm.
But yeah, this poster's fucking sick, dude.
Huh.
Yeah,
I'll have to
yeah,
check it out.
yeah. I can't believe Bashar's on here. That's so funny. Yeah, this map is fucking sick. Let me find a link and I'll send you a link because I even have a blanket I bought. I bought a blanket that has all of it on there too.
Have you seen the movie Moulin Rouge?
Yes, I found it to be
I think
extremely fucking annoying. I was like, what is this?
it's definitely weird.
It
That's for
is so
sure.
weird. Yeah, it's so fucking weird.
I love it actually. I don't know why. I know it's really eccentric and weird, and I don't usually like stuff like that, but for some reason I really like that movie, probably because it's in Paris. And I
Yeah,
love the
there you
Moulin
go.
Rouge. I absolutely went there. And they just started renting out the top of the Moulin Rouge on Airbnb, and I like want to stay there so bad.
Oh my God.
It
Yes.
books out like really far in advance. But yeah, it was such a fucking phenomenal show. But another synchronicity I wanted to tell you about is I was watching that movie one night. The whole entire catchphrase of the entire movie is the greatest gift you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. Like the
Uh-huh.
whole song, the whole everything, right? My session the next day, that was her entire purpose of the entire session.
It's
Her
to love
past
and be
life.
love in return.
Yep. Yep.
Dude,
She literally said that word for word like 3 different times
oh my
during the session,
God.
during the live review, and whenever we asked the higher self about it. And I'm
Wasn't
like,
that the
this is
one?
crazy.
Wasn't because I feel like I remember that. Wasn't that those some of the ones I was listening to when I was in San Francisco? Because I
Trying
listened
to
to the Utah
remember.
Baker one and the astronomer
This
and
was a pretty old one. It's like more
oh
I want to say she was just like God, I have to go back and look at it. I think she's just like a regular housewife homemaker in like
okay.
early America. She had like a homestead and all that stuff. And literally it was like a very like happy in this lifetime, she's like single. So that was her higher self trying to get her to like get out of her shell. They wanted her to like put herself out there and allow yourself to be loved, even if you're not, don't think you're perfect kind of a thing. But
Yeah.
it was really cool and crazy. Like,
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That's so cool. I love the synchronicities. It's just amazing to me. Like
yeah,
because I think it's really fucking cool because I said that, like, I don't know. I think it's cool because we were asking about the podcast and stuff, or we were told about the podcast and how people would be like booking us off of it. And I literally got one today.
that's cool.
And it was off of your post, the Humboldt
That's
Moms
cool.
post. I was like, oh my God. I also need to get your chakra meditation saved in my YouTube because I don't know, I can't find it and I need to do that. I didn't meditate beforehand, and I need to do that before so I could get in a zone. And I think I want to listen to your chakra one, and then I
Yeah.
can do those live calls, you know.
Yeah, I
Because
was thinking that
it's
I should do that
funny.
more too.
It's funny. I thought about asking how I can connect by myself for my clients, but I was like, I'm not going to need to know that yet. But I really thought about asking that yesterday, and I kind of wish I would have. Because
For connecting like as deep.
yeah, because like the way you connect me, because I'm like, I can't have Stephanie there every fucking time I try to do a client call. You know, like we're not that kind, like we're a team, but like my business is my business. Like I need to
Right.
figure this out on my own. And so I was like, I need to ask like what I should do, but I really do feel like it just meditation, and meditation is the answer for everything. Like I learned that in that going through that samurai life, like meditation is the answer to everything. Because I
Yeah.
was even wondering how, I was like, how do I, because I realized too that like my anger, I'm really impatient, and like how do I release that impatience? Like how do I like what, and I just keep feeling like meditation, that's the
Mm.
answer to everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can find the answers to everything through meditation, you know? And so I think that's what I need to do before I go to my clients, is just to get in a zone. Because like with her, I like the way Daryl closes his eyes when he channels Bashar, like that's how I am when I'm with you. Like I put an eye mask on because
Mm-hmm.
I just like a sensory deprivation kind of thing. And when I was in my closet with her on the phone, I closed my eyes. And sometimes I even put my hands over my eyes, just
Oh
'cause
yeah.
I don't know, it just like helps. But yeah, I don't know. This is such a learning curve. Like I thought I was good at all this, but which I am, but now it's like it really does mean something. And not that it didn't before. I know what I'm capable of, and I want to be precise, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so I want to do everything that I can. But at the same token, it's like you used to do this drunk smoking a cigarette. So you can also do it. Like you can do it. It's
Right.
just, yeah, you're being more. Now I can, if I'm more ceremonial about it, I can find the depth in it, you know, because before I just skimmed the surface with every reading, you know, I never found the depth in it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did. Sometimes I did, but yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Are you finding yourself like just getting deeper in meditation just in general, the more sessions that you do?
Oh yeah, like I sometimes when I meditate, I realize that it is about my power of my thoughts. Like I do believe that I'm really doing what I'm doing when I'm meditating.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm down to like I have this energy ball in my backyard, and it radiates a protective bubble that's around my house. And then there's another protective bubble that's on my street, and then one that's around my neighborhood because there's people in the neighborhood that I know. And so it's like I just want our neighborhood to be safe. And so I
Mm-hmm.
keep a protective bubble, but it's an energy center in the backyard. And sometimes like I'll like tap it and make sure, and like I'll see it in my mind's eye to make sure that it's still going, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I don't know where that came from, but yeah, like I just really believe that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that's half the whole battle, is just believing in yourself. And
Yeah.
like my visualizing is really cool. And like today I tried to channel that guy, and I heard him, and he was telling me
That's cool.
cool. It was so fucking cool. He was like, actually, I'm Arcturan. He's like, I'm not Pleiadian, but he said I sit on a council with some of the Pleiades. And he said there's another on the council who said they would work with you. They want to work with you, but he said I can work with both of you. He said that you guys just choose who you want to work with.
Mm.
And he said there's people on the count because the council, the whole point of the council is to work with those who are doing serious work here to raise, you know, it's a he doesn't work with just regular housewives who, you know,
Mm-hmm.
are gonna farm all day and that's it. You know what I mean? Like that's not who they work with.
Right, right.
And so yeah, but he was telling me how to work with him, and he was just like, uh, practice, that's it, you know, just talk to him more. He was telling me like, yeah. So I'm definitely gonna channel him at least once a day, you know, and just talk to him and like learn his energy and how he communicates and stuff.
That's cool.
Because he said, and he insinuated that he can communicate in any form that we feel comfortable. Like he could do it the way Bashar does it, or he could do it the way I do it, where I sit in front of them and talk to them. Like I have my body, nobody takes over me kind of thing. Yeah,
Mm.
I've always wondered that if I would ever let an entity do that. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I don't know if I'd be okay with it or if I I don't know if I just want my body as my own,
Right.
Like, what would you do? How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I guess I would have to get to a place where I was like comfortable actually just hearing them and having like a good communication first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I feel like I'm just barely like dipped my pinky toe in the water of
I know,
actually
right? You're
hearing
like,
things.
yeah, I know. You're like fucking.
I'd have the desire to, I want to, but I feel like, I don't know, half the time I don't know if it's my own thoughts or if I am and I just don't realize it. Or maybe I have been my whole life and I just thought my own thoughts anyway. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of those things where other than like sparkles going off in my face and then I'm like, who are you? And just trying to be quiet and seeing what comes. Like I try to sit and hear things in meditation, but I never know if it's like my ADHD brain taking over or if I'm receiving things.
I know
Just like,
that's how I feel too. And so going through these channelings with you, like I'm starting to learn what's real visions and what's me and stuff. Because like
yeah,
even when
because
I
I'm like a
smoke
ping pong
weed,
ball.
yeah, because like when I smoke weed even, like sometimes I could tell now which strains distract me and which ones I can channel better with. Like I used to just smoke whatever and yeah, it's whatever, but now I'm starting to understand that there's certain strains that distract me and I can't focus and
Mm,
my brain's all over the place. And then
right.
there's others where I'm fucking in it and I'm like in it like you and I are in a channeling session. And so,
Mm,
yeah. Like what really helps me is like I'll just sit there in stillness. I just like to sit there in stillness and feel whatever, is going on. Like listen to because I always have sound going. And so I
mm-hmm,
like to listen to the bowls, and just whatever. And then I'll shoot my roots out and then I'll go into space. And as I'm coming down from space, all of a sudden I'm in that observatory and
mm-hmm,
it's like space. And it's kind of funny because my ceiling with the space on my ceiling, I'm like, I feel like I'm creating my healing place, but also that space I go to in meditation. And
mm-hmm,
because it's really colorful space, it's so beautiful. Sometimes I'll shoot arrows into it, and I feel like the arrows are intentions of something. I don't because like one time I was in there and I immediately shot 3 arrows into the space. And I'm like, okay, what was that? But like, I don't know, but I felt like it meant something. And sometimes I'll write stuff and like I'll say stuff in it and it'll be like white and gold, and then I'll put it on the arrow and I'll shoot it into space.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
yeah, it's really cool. Like it's my magic space. Anything goes. Like I can make it do anything and what I shoot into space, that's my intention is to send it into the universe or the universal mind even.
Yeah, I
But
love that. That's really cool. That's like super symbolic.
yeah, I fucking love it. It's so much fun. Like meditation is so much fun to me now. It's like now that I get it, it's like so much fun. And it's anything you want it to be. Cause like it's funny because like sometimes I'll be in there eating ice cream on an ice cream cone. But the observatory I've noticed is mainly used right in the beginning of my meditation because I don't really go sometimes I'll go back there right before I start visualizing because I always visualize now to close out my meditation. I always visualize my life and how I want it to look. And we're always fucking traveling and the podcast is growing. I'm like really loving it.
That's cool.
Because
Yeah,
like
and
the
trying
more
to
you work with it, the more it'll click for you too. And I feel like even it'll kind of work in tandem with your channeling, trying to channel yourself.
Yeah, I feel like I do the roots and I've been doing the space too since I learned that from you. And then I go into like where I kind of feel like I'm on a cliff, but overlooking like sky above me, and then I'm like rooted into the ground below me kind of a thing.
Oh, I love that.
But
That's really
then,
cool.
and like I said, I've been having like shapes, like it's like in a movie where it comes in blurry and then it comes into focus,
Yeah,
but it
that's
never
how it
comes
is
into
for me.
focus.
It's
It
okay.
just
It
stays
will.
blurry.
Yeah, it's okay. It will. Because I feel
It's
like,
moving though. It's like almost like the Matrix, how like when they I don't know which Matrix it was, but like how it breaks down from like how it becomes real from energy kind of a thing.
uh-huh.
Like it's like outlining everything with energy, but nothing solid, but it's like
No, I feel you. Yeah.
blurry. Yeah.
No, I feel you. It's funny. It's kind of like you just got your vision back and you
Yeah.
open your eyes and everything's just blurry. It's like you gotta, yeah, it'll come. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's really cool that it's like happening. Because I don't know, it's so crazy. I don't know why I always have to, but it's like how hard I gaslight myself, and it's like the healing is real. Like it's
Yeah.
happening, and
Yeah.
it's happening right before our, it's just so magical because it's
And
just
I'm
like,
still even gaslighting myself, like with it all, I like constantly question, like
I know you're like, why am I not fucking channeling Bashar right now?
exactly. If I was made for this, damn it. No.
I know, then I should be able to do it completely.
I
I
watched
know.
an episode of Disclosure last night, and it had the guy that set up the CE5 protocols where the close encounters are initiated by us. He's famous. I can't remember his name. I've seen him on Ancient Aliens and stuff too, but he's the guy that runs those big groups where they go out into various places and they follow this certain set of protocols that they agreed upon with various alien species. And he can telepathically connect with whoever's nearby and hone them into where they are and bring them to him for communication purposes. And
Okay.
I thought that was pretty interesting. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
hmm.
I know, right? Okay. That's
But
interesting.
yeah, and he's like done it lots of times. They have pictures. There's been mass sightings with tons and tons of people seeing the craft that he's called down and honed in telepathically.
Wow.
But it was like a protocol set up so that whenever, because they have to be invited, right?
Yeah.
So it's an agreed upon, if we use this protocol, that we can call them to us if we want to communicate or interact, kind of a thing. And they don't always interact physically. Like half the time the ship just comes down and then leaves. They said that if like they can sense fear like in the people that are seeing them, that they'll just like back off and leave anyway. So they're only
That's
going to come if
interesting.
everybody
I've
there
heard
is
that.
welcoming them.
I've heard that because that's what we did when we were smoking that blunt. Because that's what we were talking about. I was like, I heard that if you ask to see them, then you'll see them. And so we're like, hey, let's see something. Can we see something? And then like 5 minutes later, the ship was like boop, boop, boop around that star. Oh, what's that? And because I've heard that before and I've done that and I've asked to see stuff and I've seen stuff that night, It's not immediate, but yeah,
Right.
they're there and yeah.
It's pretty interesting though. But after talking about
It makes
channeling
sense
the
because, well, it makes sense on the fear thing because there's times where I've wanted to try to talk and I've wanted to do that, but it does scare me. Sometimes it scares me because the unknown is still a little bit scary.
Mhm.
And, but I do believe that there are more protective forces at play, that won't allow your worst fears to happen, kind of thing.
Right.
There's another synchronicity as fuck with that Japan life. Okay. So my whole life because my grandma came to me in a dream. This was right before I left for the military. She introduced me to him. And I asked my mom if she ever had a brother or like if my grandma was pregnant and she didn't, the baby didn't survive or something. But my mom's like, no, because it's just her and her sister. But at first I thought maybe it's like her brother or like an uncle. I was trying to figure out who it was because I didn't know what spirit guides are or any of that shit.
Mhm.
And but she introduced me to him then, and that was right before I joined the military. And then when I was pregnant with Max, I was reading him a book. I was Dr. Seuss, and I was like fumbling on it. And I could see him in my mind's eye leaning up against my bed, and he would like laugh with me when I laughed. And then another time I saw him in dreams a couple of times, but then when I started to understand spirit guides, because at first I thought maybe he's an angel, but then I heard about what spirit guides are. I was like, okay, that's what he is. But I named him Michael for some reason. I always just wanted to call him Michael. Like that's just who, that's what I named him. Well,
Mhm.
like fast forward, okay, so yeah, he was my dad in that Japan life, right? Well, like I'm with my stepdad and we're driving through rice paddies. He's taking me to get my teeth pulled out, and I'm driving through rice paddies and his name's Michael. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's a funny one.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's like a couple too. Like there were some other less desirable stories, but there was a huge one and it's nuts. Like this healing, it's nuts, dude. And it's like, I don't know, shit, these synchronicities literally is what I can hold on to know that this is real because it's like so
Right.
hard right now. And I don't know, I still just like have a hard time believing that that anything I'm doing is real.
Yeah.
You know, it's so hard, but like the gaslighting, it's like, how do I circumvent the gaslighting? I don't know.
Yeah. I like to think of the synchronicities as like little cheering, like little cheers or cheering you on, like, yeah, you got this, keep going, you
Oh
know?
yeah. Oh yeah. It's like I think, and that's the thing is I think they serve multiple purposes and meanings. Like I feel like sometimes it shows you that you're in alignment with your path and with like what you're thinking about, like a confirmation, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
other times, like with the all those crazy synchronicities that happen right before you go into a regression, like
Mm-hmm.
it's just you know what'll be crazy is whatever synchronicities we get before we go into the fucking Maldec life.
Right. And a lot of times they don't even make sense until a couple days later. Sometimes you
Exactly.
get the
Yeah.
synchronicities after, sometimes before.
I know,
So that's
yeah,
pretty
exactly.
interesting.
Because my first synchronicity for the Japan life, my friend or my guide, I guess now, like when I was in meditation, he was talking to me about something. And then when he left, like he put his hands up and bowed to me. And I was like, what are you doing? And I was like, because he's Asian, you know, in the life that I knew him, he kept doing that. And I'm like, and I kept thinking like Japanese, you know, and I was like, why are you doing that? Like, you're not even Japanese. Like, what are you doing? And then I was like, oh God, is that life? I was like, is that life in Japan? Is that why I hate Japan? Because I like don't have any desire to go to Japan. I have never had desire to go to Japan. I love
Right.
sushi, but that's about it. Like
Right.
I just, and that's the thing is I want to know what about that life made me hate Japan and so much because I don't hate the culture. I love the peaceful culture. I love Buddhism like that because in that life I was Buddhist. But like
I think it's probably just like the overall feeling that you had throughout that whole life was just like a really
well, I was also
tumultuous
a
internal
samurai.
struggle.
I was a samurai, and that's really synonymous with that culture. And I did all of that warrior shit. And maybe I don't know, because knowing how I work out that level of anger and knowing how fucking angry I was in that life,
Mm-hmm.
because I do, like, I literally like going through, because I'm trying to figure out what happened after I came out of my body in the murder life, because I kind of want to do that in a session, because we never went into the healing area or any of that stuff. And like, I kind of have tried myself, but like, I am angry. I am pissed. And it all centers around the girls. Like, I'm angry that I couldn't raise them and be there for them. I'm angry about what my death did to them. And like I'm angry that he cut my life short and I couldn't dance anymore, you know, like because in this life all I ever fucking wanted was to be a dancer, but nobody would like I never, you know, got put in dance. Like it's just
Wow.
fucking crazy. Like the layout of our family is exactly like what Dolores Cannon said. She's like, you have to clear your karma and you have to forgive, otherwise you come back and do it all over again in different roles. And you can map it out. I can fucking map it out. It's fucking insane to me. Like it's just crazy. It blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I totally get the anger in that Japanese life because yeah, like I was so, yeah, I was filled with, but it was funny going into that life. I was very nervous. So I was like, I was scared, but I let it fuel me, you know, because I'm not going to be a victim. So
Yeah. I wonder what the nervousness or the scaredness was knowing, was it the unknown, or do you think you knew what, like somewhere deep down you knew what you were gonna be uncovering?
no, I wasn't nervous about uncovering anything. No, it was the feeling. It was the feeling I felt going. I knew as I don't know, I can't explain it. It's like
Mm.
I was being born into that life because I did even open up as a baby, which I thought also is weird. Your Aztec life, I opened up to, as a baby with you too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because when I was the baby, like, remember you had me look at your house and I couldn't tell you what the fuck I was looking at. And it was kind of fun to me to be in that perspective because my daughter is a baby right now. And like, I was kind of shown how aware they are
Mm-hmm.
and how not, and like, because it's like they're aware completely, but they don't know what the fuck they're looking at. Like
Oh,
half the
yeah.
time it's just shapes and whatever, but like I could recognize the people around me. But yeah, like that house, I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at. It just looked like a garbledy gook of whatever.
You had to get older and like have attached meanings to things before you
Yeah.
could explain it.
Oh yeah. And that's what's so fucking cool is like because I'm aware, right, because yeah, like I'm not asleep and I'm not under like I definitely am in a level of hypnosis, but I'm not asleep. I'm aware the whole fucking time. When I'm in it, like I have the awareness of who I am in that scene. Like that's why I want to know how much of your soul is there, really there, you know?
Right. Well, and that kind of goes back to the question of, are we actually time traveling and viewing these
Hmm.
situations in real
Yeah,
moment? I
exactly.
stumbled across last night the TikTok of Dolores Cannon talking about how she went back in time and to talk to Nostradamus. And that she was saying that in the conversations, they did it over the course of several months, translated all of his predictions. And she was saying that he was very clear, you are not talking to my spirit in the spirit realm. You are talking to me right
Oh
now,
yeah.
sitting in France, writing these.
Oh yeah.
And so I thought, well, how much of that is what we're doing? Because again, Bashar says everything's happening right now. So it's pretty wild.
I know. Well, that's what's funny is when I was recalling my murder life, I was in my childhood home, like my this life's childhood home. I wasn't in that house because the just being in that house, I didn't feel safe. Like I couldn't even be in there to recall it.
Hmm.
I had to build something different just to live it out. And I also was because it's like that's everything is in a space, right? There's this, you create a space and you create a reality in this space, and I'm thinking about it. And it's like when we recall these things, like we're going to these places where we already have been and created this reality because I had one reality that I locked up behind a fortress. Like I stacked wood, log planks, and they were on fire, and I bound them tight with twine, and there was a lot of smoke from the fire, but it all it was just around this box. It was a square, and it was impenetrable. And I had no fucking idea what was in there. But the closer I got to it, the more scared I got. So I was like, fuck that, I'm out. Like when in
Hmm.
meditation, because I'm like trying, because I knew something heavy was there in my heart, but I had no fucking idea how to access it. And then now after recalling all this stuff, I'm like, because I was thinking about it, I was like, it's not even a real fortress or a block. It's like an imaginary thing, and it's like, no, it's really not imaginary. There really is a place in some realm or some dimension where this life exists that you lived in, and it's like it's there, it's happening right now, kind of thing. I can't explain
Hmm.
what I'm talking about, but it was just a weird aha moment that I had. I was like, when you lock things up tight, and even when you recall them, there's some stuff that I can't see when I'm going through it. Like even going through your trauma, I couldn't see some of the stuff, and I was like, why am I blocking it out? Like I can handle it. Like I've seen violent movies, but there's I guess just stuff that I don't want to see when I'm there in the astral,
Hmm.
or whatever fucking, I don't know if astral's the right word, but like wherever the fuck it is I go when I channel this stuff.
Right. I wonder if like what you're experiencing through me is you can't see things that I've locked up, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I thought of that too. I didn't even think to say that, but yeah, that's another hypothesis too. Yeah, because it was like I'm viewing your memory, or like I put your movie on the projector and I'm watching it and telling you what I'm seeing. And yeah, it's
Hmm.
like, because the Aztec life and that Japan life are very similar. There were things that were the same to me, and that I opened up as a baby, and the violence of the killing was the same. Like you and I took
Mm.
pleasure in being very violent.
Whoa, dude.
Oh my God. There's this movie, okay? I don't know if I want to talk about it on the podcast yet because I want to give people a chance to watch it, or if they want to watch it, I don't fucking know. But it's a new movie, so I'm going to talk about the movie Argyle on Apple TV. So, spoiler alert, if there's something you want to watch, then go ahead. It is so cheesy, like it is very cheesy. But anyway, the whole premise is like she's this writer and she's writing about like these spy novels, but it turns out she's like writing about shit that's really happened because it's like files that are classified and shit, and she's catching the attention of like high level people, right? Well,
and they're waiting for her. Well, yeah, and sorry. They're like waiting for her to like write more so they could figure out like where they hid stuff or what, all this shit.
Mhm.
But it turns out that she's really a spy, and she had a brain injury, and she got captured by the enemy, and they mind controlled her into thinking she's
Mhm.
just some random whatever, and she's a writer. And so, and oh yeah, they wanted to encourage her to write what she really remembers. And it kind of fascinated me in a sense of how past lives work, because like she's this writer, and it's like her boss's name is Alfie. Well, her cat now is named Alfie, and like she's writing about like one of the main character, or one of the side characters, is about her actual partner when she was a spy, but she doesn't know she's a spy. None of this. She just thinks that this is coming from her imagination. And then,
Mhm.
and like some of the characters are like real people, And so I'm
Mhm.
like, I wonder how many times in life where it's like, I don't know, it's like the names you pick for your animals, like if they were names of your favorite people, or your favorite, or your name in a past life or something. Like, I don't know
Right.
why, but I always name the spiders in my windowsill that take up shop there. I always name them Frank. Like they're always Frank. And my son's his are always Sean. So I'm like Sean and Frank, And so it's like, I don't know, that just kind of made me think of that. I was like, how many names or things do you pull like that from past lives? It's just really funny.
Yeah, or just like from deep within your soul. It was funny
Mhm.
because I told you when we were trying to figure out the home planets of my soul, you had said Orion at one point, Orion, Sirius, and the Pleiades, a crossbred that I originally had come from Sirius, but I lived at Orion. And I had a cat named Orion because I've always felt a connection to Orion.
I
And
love that.
then, we know the connection with Beatrice. Beatrice is a connection from the Salem lifetime. And
Mhm.
I've had Beatrice in my life for a long time because that's what I call the voice text on my phone.
I know it's funny, but I think it's really sweet because I really do think that was the mom's name, because
Yeah.
she kept saying Beatrice, but call me B. And I was like, what? And then she was like, I'm like, B or Beatrice, B. And I was like, kind of tripping up on that. And she's like, just call me mom. So that's another thing, is she's sitting here, if we really are there, you know what I mean? And if I really was there, and I'm like telling my mom, oh, hey, what's your name? What's your name?
Right.
And it's just like, sorry, I'm being channeled right now.
Right. Well, and that's interesting because now to think of it that way, because I actually had a client, I'm trying to even remember when it was. I don't even remember the details around it, but I remember asking them, it was in Egypt. And I was asking them to ask the name of the king that they worked for because they wrote papyruses for the king. They
Uh-huh.
transcribed what the king wanted to go out. Later on, it ended up turning into hieroglyphs. And this person had like a really wonderful life that like they were really proud that their writings ended up becoming hieroglyphs. But at a certain point, I was kept asking, what is the name of the king you work for? They wouldn't ask. They said it was incredibly disrespectful to ask, and they weren't going to.
Wow.
So that was pretty interesting. And I'm thinking, what would it matter if we're just watching a memory, kind of a thing.
I know,
And then
right?
yeah, and then I had another session where we were on another planet, but we were in a castle, and the woman was like a 8-year-old child at the time, and we together were playing in the castle, and the adults were looking at us. She said they're looking at us. They're wondering what we're doing. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well.
Wow. Wow. I know. That's really funny. Like, I don't know. And that kind of makes you wonder what deja vu, like part of what could deja vu really be? Like, I have
Yeah.
theories. I don't think it's one answer, because like there was one time I was sitting with my friends in a garage, and I remember thinking this is deja vu, and it brought me back to a time when that was like 2 or 3 years prior. It was like a dream. And I was like, I dreamed this. This was a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy shit. But I remember where I was and where I lived when I had this dream. Like the deja
Mm-hmm.
vu, they like linked or something, like a portal opened, and I was like, I could feel holy shit. But then like
Yeah.
some deja vu moments though, it's like this is very familiar. Like I feel like I've been here before. And sometimes those moments, I feel like that's your soul coming back, like to
like it's almost like when you're in the astral after your life, you know, and you're remembering that life, so you're going into like favorite moments, you know. But then again, some of my deja vu moments aren't really favorites. I'm like, why do I come back to this moment? Why not? Like when I had some bomb ass sex. Why would I remember that again?
I've asked in several sessions because so many people, that's one like a really common question that people want to ask during the past life regression sessions. And the interesting thing is that all the higher selves say different things. It's almost like it serves the purpose to you that is meaningful to you. So somehow your soul or whatever purpose you think it means is what it means, is what I'm starting to think. Because some higher selves have said it's a reminder that they've been here before and they need to make a different choice this time. Other higher selves have said it's just a little reminder that they're on the right path and keep going. And there's been other explanations in between, but for the most part, I kind of feel like, I don't know, I definitely have the different ones. I've had the ones where it feels like, oh, I dreamed this before. And there's other ones that are like, dude, I've totally been here before. So I kind of think maybe they mean different things. And I don't know. It'd be interesting to ask in a channeling session and maybe ask if there is differences and kind of get to the bottom of it and ask, is it kind of like symbols or numbers where it's
I'm gonna
more
put that on my list.
yeah, like more individual definitions according to what you assigned the definition to be meaningful for you, kind of a thing. So
yeah. Deja vu. What the fuck is it?
I go through spurts too where I get them a lot and then not for a long time and then a lot. And they're usually just like random fleeting moments, like, it's nothing important or really big, but it's
It is a
enough to go,
fleeting moment. That's
whoa,
the best
dude, I've been
Yeah,
here.
that crazy man. Oh my God. Okay, I have a regret. I have to talk about this on the podcast before we go under. I want to know what really happened this one night when we were shrooming. This was the night that we discovered this spot. It's a spot in San Diego at Mission Bay, and it's like really fucking sacred to me and some of my friends. And I took some like we discovered it with first timers, and I've taken first timers there. Like it's really fucking sacred, and it has this beautiful tree. It has everything I need. It has trees, it has water, and it's got a fire pit. You're good to go. You know what I mean? If you go early enough in the evening, then SeaWorld will put off the fireworks, and it's really cool. Like one time they did them, and I was already streaming, and I was like, I looked at my friend, I was like, I want to get in sight of those. Like, I want it to explode around me. It was so fucking cool. But anyway, we were there with some first timers, and like I remember there was this family there. So they're like loading all of their shit into these trailers and like all this stuff. I'm assuming it was probably like a quinceañera or like somebody's.
Oh yeah, like a family get together of some
Because
sort.
I mean, that's one way. I was born in the wrong culture, dude. I wish I was Mexican. Like the way they party. Oh my God. I love
That's
how
funny you say
Mexicans
that.
party.
I've always said that. That's one of the things in this lifetime I've always really desired was like culture. I feel like I really dislike just like the mainstream white lack of culture,
Well, and that's
like
why I love traveling and soaking up other cultures. Like I
me
just
too.
love it. And like, yeah, we're gonna be the best travel buddies. I can't wait for like our first trip together. It's gonna be so much fun.
I
I
really
swear.
try to like immerse myself. Like I try to go if it's available, I try to go to some sort of local dance performance of some sort because I just love it
Yes,
so
that
much.
would be cool.
I try to like support local street artists depending on whatever the common street art is that you see people in that general area. I try to like get out and walk around and not necessarily just tourist places too. It's cool
Yeah.
whenever you can like link up with like local tour guides and become friends with them. Then sometimes they'll like show you the cool spots they don't show everyone.
Fuck yeah. Oh yeah. And I could talk to anybody. They'll love me. Like that's one gift I have is I could totally like be friends with anybody. Like I love traveling because you just can talk to anybody and just it's so exciting. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love meeting new people and making them laugh and like hearing their funny shit. It's my favorite. Like I
Yeah.
live to make people laugh.
Nice. Yeah, when we were in Egypt, we had done like a normal catacombs and the fort and all this stuff in Alexandria one day, and we really liked our tour guide. So the next day, my friend and I, we had arranged to link up with her just on our own, and she took us around to like where the locals go shopping and get their like food and like baked goods and stuff like that. So we went out and got like fabrics and some clothes, and I mean it was like a fraction of the cost of like everywhere else where the tourist stuff was, you know. And then we
Uh-huh.
came home with like the best haul of all these like delicious locally made desserts, and she's like, but we just wanted to try everything, so of course we got a bunch of stuff, but we also had other people back at the Airbnb that we could share it with. But she's like, you guys are eating the way we do for, I think it's Ramadan, but basically like she's like American, it's when they actually like indulge in sweets and stuff, and she's like, you guys are buying a lot of sweet stuff, kind of like making comments, and we're like, well, we want to try it all, you know.
I'd be
When
like,
else are we gonna have this opportunity?
I'm fucking stoned. I got the munchies. Fuck off.
Right.
Okay, I gotta finish this fucking story. It's really wild. Like,
Okay.
and I want to take it to a session. Like, I really want to know what really happened. Although I was like fucking in meditation one night and it came to me. And so I'm like, wait, I want to see it in a session, but I was shown what really happened. And it was kind of, anyway, let me tell the story first. So anyway, we're at this spot and it kind of sucked, you know, and this family had this like choice spot, right? And so they're leaving, but we just got to wait for them to load their house and get out of there. And once they left, like we packed our blanket up and we were walking over to it. And I remember my friend Ryan and I were walking, like we were walking ahead and we were waiting for my friend Clarissa and her man. And I think this other chick was with us and we were waiting for them to get their stuff. And I remember seeing this guy walking, like he was walking with a purpose and he looked like this homeless guy, but he was coming from the parking lot and he was walking towards us and he had a fishing pole on his, like on his back of his shoulder or whatever. And I was like, dude, I don't want drama. I just popped these mushrooms. Like and they're starting to hit. Like, I don't want anything, you know? And I'm like, fuck. Like, turned to my friend. I was like, who's this jabroni? And he looks at him and he's like, ugh. He's like, I don't want drama. And I'm like, I know, I don't want drama. So we look back for our friends and we're like, hey guys, let's go. And then so we're walking to the spot and this guy like literally almost like runs into us, but just walks right in front of us. And my friend and I look at each other, we're like, okay. And then I kept walking ahead and Ryan looks back for them, you know, and I get to like the top of the little, because there's like a berm kind of thing. It's like the grass stops and then it goes into the sand. And so I stopped there and all of a sudden the water starts like making waves. They're like 3 foot high waves and they're rhythmic. They're not like there's a, I don't know, there's a rhythm to them. Okay. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I look over at my friends and I'm like, are you guys seeing this? And we're like, holy shit. And I remember seeing the guy with the fishing pole and he's standing at the water and he has his hand out like he's fucking 11, you know, making it happen. Right. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I know, like, I'm not just seeing this. Okay. Shrooms don't do that. And I remember there was this family down the way and they were reacting to it. So it was real. Okay. And so it was just this rhythmic fucking waves. And it went on for like, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute maybe. And then it just like stopped. The fucking wave just midair just crashes to the beach. And I'm like, okay. And it was calm, you know, like nothing happened. And so we're like, all right. And so we put our stuff down, you know, we're hanging out, whatever. And I remember while we're talking, I'm watching this guy and he's like kind of walking up and down the beach. And then eventually he just was gone. Well, fast forward, you know, we're after we were done at the bay, we went the actually we weren't done at the bay. The girl we were with, she's really great and I love her to death, but she was kind of going through something and we were all just sitting there having a good time and she pours water on the fire and she was like, "Oh, look, fire's out. I guess it's time to go." And we're like, "What the fuck?" We're like, "No, we're not ready to go," but she was our ride. So we were like, ah, fuck. So we all got in the car, you know, we're all laughing and trying to be supportive, you know, but it kind of sucked. We were having a good time. Anyway, so we're back at my apartment. And I remember my buddy Ryan and I were sitting outside smoking a cigarette. and we were talking about it, right? And like he was telling me about this book he read, and he was saying how like sometimes when aliens are like trying to take off in their ship or like trying to do something, they'll like come as a non-threatening entity and they'll erase what's happening. Like you'd only see nature reacting to it. You don't see what's really happening. And right when he said that, it was like he sat up straight, and it was like somebody like lightly just shoved his head into my railing, because you just see him go by the head and he goes bam and he smacks into my railing and he goes down on the floor and fucking starts seizing. And so I opened the fucking sliding door. I'm like, hey guys, get out here. Fucking Ryan fell down. Oh my God. And like they get to the door and he stops and he fucking rolls over and he looks at me and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, are you okay, dude? Like, what the fuck? And he thought he just walked inside and laid down. Like he didn't, none of that. Like he thought we put the cigarette out and we went inside. That's what he thought happened. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? And to this day, we have no idea what the fuck that was. Like, and so last night or the night before, when I was like channeling, trying to, because I wanted to ask and I was thinking about asking, but I saw that there was like this guy and he was trying to find a human to get into, but he had to find a low enough vibrational one, because it's really hard to take over humans and like be, control them kind of thing. And so he found a homeless guy and he fucking walks to the beach to go to where because his ship was in the water, and that fucking guy with his hand up, like that was really him like lifting it out of the water. And once it was like ready to take off, he like whoop out of the guy's body. And I saw in the vision that that was visible to people. If they were paying attention, somebody would have saw that. But I didn't see it, and none of them saw it. You know what I mean? Nobody that I was with saw that. But like, the guy was pacing the beach trying to recall what the fuck just happened to him, because he doesn't remember how he got there.
Oh, that
He
makes
was in a
sense.
completely different part of San Diego. And yeah. And that's, yeah, like, and then he just kind of he didn't take off his ship, just because they don't take off. They match their vibration. That's how they move around. So like he just changed his vibration and he was out of here. But I still want to know what happened to my friend that night. Like what happened? Did somebody push him into that railing and make him shut up? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Right.
That was the weirder to me than what I saw at the beach. Because the thing about Mission Bay, why I love it so much, is if you sit there long enough, the water does just crazy shit. Like sometimes the waves will just furiously, or the current will just furiously go one way, and then it'll be calm, and then it'll just furiously go another way. Like it just does the weirdest shit for a bay. Like I've lived around calm water, but well, then again, I've been around lakes, so I guess that's not a accurate description. But I've never, I don't know. It's the bay is really weird to me, but I love it. I love that kind of weird, because it's like, is it because the water? It's just nature? Is there something doing this? Or is there other things in these shrooms?
Well, and
But
isn't there theories about there being an underwater base right off San Diego?
well, fuck, that makes so much sense of why he would leave out of the fucking bay, like that. Oh my God, that makes so much sense. That's
Have you
crazy.
heard anything about that? They have
I,
aerial footage of like where they believe it is and stuff.
yeah, I don't think I have, because I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't ring a bell for me, That's
Hmm.
crazy though.
I'll have
Like
to
that
look it
makes
up.
sense though with what I saw that night. Like that's so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess there's a really deep area just off the coast of San Diego. And that's one of the reasons why like Tic Tac was off the coast of San Diego. There's like a high traffic, high energy place kind of a thing. And I don't know if that's why the base would be there. I want to say it was on Ancient Aliens or something that where I had originally heard about it first.
Wow, yeah.
But it'd be interesting to look into. I'll have to look whenever
Do
we get done
ancient
and show you.
ancient what do they say? Ancient something theorists believe. They always say that fucking ancient something theorists believe that.
Egyptologists
Well, they
or
all
something like that.
it's like, well, it got to the point where I'm like, take a hit every time they say ancient
Oh yeah.
astronaut theorists believe or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Because it's like they believe this and this and this happened and this and this and this. It's like, just fucking say it, okay? Just say it. We all believe it, all right? Like, just say it.
I think Ancient Aliens was like really a big they wanted to present the information, but let you make your own choice and just show you the evidence. Whereas
Well,
like
because
these
a
new
lot of
shows,
it's hard to accept because other people, they don't have an imagination. They think everything that they're told is exactly how it is. And it's like,
right.
and so they have to, yeah, I get you. Yeah, they have to present it a certain way so that, the fucking ones who can't think for themselves don't get too freaked out.
Right. Yeah, I feel like it was intentionally designed that way. Whereas the newer shows like on Gaia, which are pretty much, I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked at the names, but they're narrated by the same voices. They have the same guests, so I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's probably the same people somewhere behind the scenes. And now they present it very matter of factly as opposed to, oh, well, some people believe this and that. But I think Ancient Aliens was like a really important step in getting like the mainstream thought process opening up
Well, that
to,
was what started me off. Yeah.
yeah,
Like
me
I
too. Yeah, for
literally
sure.
when I first moved to San Diego, my roommate's brother-in-law used to buy me weed at the shops. And like I would when like Max would go visit his dad, I used to like just sit in the living room and just get high as fuck and watch Ancient Aliens.
Yeah, me too. There was
Like,
a
cause
phase in my
well,
life.
because I would watch it and then I would go out on my patio and play that Zynga poker and I would wonder about what I just watched. You know what I mean? Like I would sit
Uh-huh.
there and think about it and think about the possibilities. And if this is possible, then what about this? And like, could this really be what happened here? And then over the years, I started getting the answers. And like,
Hmm.
but see, the funny thing is when I first started my journey, the answers took a little bit to get to me because it was like I had to be ready for them, like ready to receive the actual answer rather than some
Hmm.
sugar-coated bullshit that I could accept in the moment. I was given the actual answer, but I had to be ready for it. And now it's a faster turnaround time. You know what I mean? Like I ask
Right.
a question and sometimes it's fucking immediate. And so
Yeah.
other times I like, yeah, sometimes it's not there yet. So it's like it's just coming when I'm fucking ready for it, I guess.
Yeah. I remember being a kid and I went to all different kinds of churches. I've been kicked out of several churches for asking questions and not being willing to accept the answers. And then I would kind of get mouthy and things like that. This is as a teenager. But
You, Beatrice, now.
um in college, I even took, world religions classes. I've always felt like I'm searching for the answers and the truth, but nothing ever settled. Nothing ever felt right. Nothing ever felt like
Mhm.
just deep inside that was everything. I felt like there was some truth to some things, maybe, but I always felt like everything just seemed like, I feel like the Bible and Christianity is like a grain of sand in the ocean of life and
I don't even
and
think
the
it's a grain of
universe and
sand.
the reality. It's like a tiny, it's like not even the slightest. Yeah, well,
I don't even think it
some of
is.
the
Well,
stories.
I just don't buy it. Like, I mean, I believe the stories really happened. Some of the stories really happened because obviously somebody was writing about what happened, right? But like,
Right.
I don't like it being used as a religious text because
Oh
it's
yeah.
literally God according to some guy who lived a long fucking time ago. Like, and that's just one guy's perspective. And then it's also that other guy's perspective. And that guy's perspective about the world is pretty fucked up compared to what your perspective about the world is now and how the
Right.
world we live in now. Like, plus it was written by the fucking Knights Templar. And of course, the fucking Book of Revelations is happening. It's their goddamn playbook. Like, of course it's happening. They wrote it. They're gonna make it happen. Like, hello. Like, I just
Yeah.
think it's all bullshit. I'm sorry if I offend anybody. Actually, I'm not sorry. Like, this is the
Yeah,
deep
I've always
end.
just kind of felt really deeply that it wasn't
I have very
that.
strong feelings about the Bible,
Yeah,
apparently.
I just could never swallow it. I could never swallow
Just
the
spit, girl.
teachings
You
that were
just gotta
being.
spit.
Yeah. And I've always felt like, even if the stories had a grain of truth to them whenever they were writing them, that it's been manipulated for the purpose of control so many times by so many
Exactly.
different people
Oh
over the
yeah.
years that
Mhm.
I've just always known that that's not for me,
Well, it's
even though
just a
I've been
way to keep
exposed to
your
it.
brain small and not ask any questions.
you know, because
Yeah.
it's just like literally, I don't know, like growing up, I grew up Mormon, and there were times where I was the only one in my family who'd go to church. I mainly went for like the socializing, and because there was some really cute boys in the ward.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I went to every activity, like, and all that shit. But also the girls were, and plus I grew up in fucking Utah. If you're not Mormon, you don't have any friends.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And
for sure.
so, and so, I mean, there are a lot of non-Mormon friends that I had, but anyway, that's beside the point. But like, it's like all the lessons and teachings, it's like it's on this fucking perpetual loop. It's like you go through the Old Testament, the New Testament, then you do the Book of Mormon, and then you do the Doctrine and Covenants, and then you got to go all the way back again and do the Old Testament, then the New Testament, then the Book of Mormon, and then it's like, why don't you go deeper into any of it? Like it's all the same shit all the time, the same recycled talks, the same recycled
Mm-hmm.
lessons, the same recycle. It's because you can only go so far in that, and it's just weird to me that nobody thinks to go deeper than that. Like that's just all there is, and that's all it is. It's like fucking depressing, to be honest with you. It's like
Yeah.
because I try to
The
talk to my parents about these like wonderful spiritual experiences that I'm having, but they don't believe in reincarnation and they won't even hear it. And it's
right.
like, it's wild to me that people literally think that this is the only life you live. It's like babies who
Yeah,
literally don't
I
even get a
know.
chance at life. Like that's all they get. And then so you're what? You're living in eternity all forever doing what? What are you doing forever? Like how
Yeah.
fucking boring is that? Like it's the weirdest thing to me, that, and they don't even question it. Like think
Yeah.
about forever. Like think about
Yeah.
that. Like what are you gonna do forever? Nothing. Like
Yeah.
it's just weird to me. We're gonna sit in fields, we're gonna wear robes of white, and we're all gonna sing kumbaya, and it's gonna be great. You know, we're gonna have so much fun sitting in
Yeah, we
these
just keep
fields every fucking day. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, no wonder you're on fucking antidepressants and anxiety medication. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. In the
Whenever
church, I just felt like it just like they were just trying to keep me small. And I remember my curiosity reached critical mass. And I remember sitting in sacrament meeting and I had this outer body experience, and I like looked around and I was like, this is not all there is. Like, what the hell? Like, what am I doing? Because I felt like a gay man trying to be straight. And I'm like,
hmm
this is not me. And I never went back. I mean, I go
Yeah.
and do activities with my mom because her Relief Society, they are so freaking awesome. And there's like a couple women in there that are so funny. Like, I really love to do the Relief Society stuff for like the sisterhood, you know?
hmm
It's a lot of fun. But yeah, that whole shit is just crazy. We're gonna ruffle some feathers with this episode.
Yeah, when I did my brief stint into the Mormon religion, when I
You're
studied
like
it,
the Mormon religion.
I
You
jumped
got
in
words with them.
full feet in because I was at a time in my life where I was presented that I kind of had to, and so I was embracing it. And I never like really felt quite so bad about myself. I mean, there was certain points about it, like I met some great people, but the overall teachings really didn't make me, I didn't feel very good about myself. And I remember just thinking, wow, like I don't know how to explain it. It was like I was expected to be at like a level of perfection that
Mhm.
just didn't really match me. And then it was all of I think it's the feeling bad and the repenting and
The
just
guilt,
like
just
the
the guilt
self
on top
guilt.
of guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for just being like human,
Mhm.
and the
I remember I had a
expectations.
sex dream and I woke up feeling guilty because I had just repented to my bishop about like making out with a guy. And I
Right.
thought, oh my God, I just blew it. I had a sex dream and I just blew it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's just so
Yeah,
stupid.
exactly. Especially that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Hmm.
They make you feel really ashamed of just like, yeah, normal sexual expression, I think. But whenever I found Ancient Aliens, it finally felt like I finally found the answers. This fucking makes sense to me.
Exactly. I
And I
finally
knew
found
deep
something
in
that
my
I can
core,
dive
yeah,
into and
yeah,
learn. And like it resonated with me like a mother. Yeah. Hmm.
big
Hmm.
time, and excited me. And I felt
Uh-huh.
it like put passion into me, like wanting to learn more. And I went to AlienCon and all this stuff, which was so fucking fascinating. I'm dying to go to another one. I want them, hey, AlienCon, schedule another one. They haven't had one. they didn't have one for several years, and then they had one and I missed it. But they used to do them every year. So if you're out there, we're trying to get this to manifest, do another AlienCon so we could go.
That would be funny. Do a
We could
podcast. I've never.
record a live podcast from there.
I think it would be interesting. I've never had the desire to do one or go or anything like that, but it sounds very interesting.
It's just there's so many like fascinating symposiums on
Well, yeah, I would
any.
just love to hear what people have to say about what they know and like, yeah.
But that was one of the first places. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember his name now. It's not Bashar, but there's another really famous channeler alien guy, and I got to watch that live.
Dude.
So that was pretty cool. But yeah, just I like them because it's a whole bunch of people who are excited about this new wave of awakening and everything it entails. There was spiritual talks, there was alien talks, there was technology talks, and it was just like whatever excites you, there was something all the time.
Fuck
And
yeah.
it was just so inspiring. I came back like so energized and excited about just the wave of the future and the direction and things are going. So
Oh
it'd be
my
really
God.
fun to go to one of those again, especially
Yeah.
now with even more and more stuff being found out.
I want
I
to
was
ask my angel deck if I should post the murder life because every time I try to tell you to post it, I chicken out. I don't know why it's so hard for me to have you post that.
mm, yeah, well, like maybe consult. Maybe you just need some more time with it or something, which is
I don't,
totally
well, I'm a
understandable.
really private person about like
Mm, so
stuff.
it's just
So
nerve-wracking in general.
yeah, just the idea of somebody, I don't know, because it's like, I mean, I don't know, I don't even know if it's even all that bad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how the content is for other people, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know why it's so hard,
Do you
but it
think it
just
could
is.
have anything to do with you're just like worried about putting that energy out into the universe and like giving it more life?
No, that's not why. I think it's just
Okay.
like that's my deepest trauma. And it's still
Mm-hmm.
like it still upsets me to think about some of the stuff. Like I literally suspect what happened to the girls, but I can't ask because I don't know if I can mentally handle the truth of what happened to them because I suspect they were separated and that like to know that like it would fucking annihilate me. Like it makes me really upset to think about. You know what I was thinking? I love the show Dexter, right? And I'm like, this story
Mm-hmm.
is loosely Dexter. Like I was murdered in front of my girls. The kids were separated. The youngest was too young to fucking remember. And the older one grew up and had a lot of fucking problems and was really fucked up because of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally almost the same. And I loved that show so much. I loved that Dexter went around and killed all the bad guys.
Me too.
Like,
Yeah, I always thought that was really cool.
yeah, I was thinking about that one day. I was like, holy shit, that's loosely kind of like it.
Do you think it would make any difference if we went into your life planning before that lifetime to see
We
how much
should.
of that was by design? Like, were the girls supposed to lose their parents at a young age because of their own contracts that they had to learn? Like, I don't know if that would help
I know, yeah. It might help.
relieve a little bit of it, but
I think, well, see, I understand all that. I think what
right,
upsets
right,
me is that it still just happened. The fact that they had to go through that and they had to feel
right,
that and they had, even if it was part of their soul stuff and they're completely fine and everybody's fine, like it's still
right.
the fact that they had to go through that. Like it really breaks me, like
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is totally, I mean, reasonable and understandable.
Yeah, like
It's pretty fucking awful.
it's really funny, like how much I have disassociated, but how much it really, like, if I allow myself to feel stuff about it, like, it's still, yeah, it's kind of crazy
Hmm.
how you hold on to trauma. Because I don't know. I mean, a part of me, I really want to post it because if there's someone going through that, it's like you need to get the fuck out. Like,
Right.
it's a very dangerous situation and you need to get the fuck out. Like I was telling you that one time, like I don't like carrying purses. And I remember in that life I was fumbling with my purse, trying to get all my shit in my purse and get out of
Hmm.
there. And it's funny because sometimes like I imagine if like intrusive thoughts, like, someone breaks into my home and tries to threaten me and my family, I always imagine going out the window, and like where I sleep on my bed is right by the window, and I keep a baseball bat by my window. This time I have a weapon, because I remember recalling it when we asked what happened to the husband. Like, I was looking for something, like anything to swing at him or throw or hit him.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't feel safe having guns in my house at the moment, like because I don't have a safe way to store them. So it's like but I still have weapons strewn about my
Right.
room.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I was single before Travis came, I always slept with a weapon next to me and right next to the window as well. It just made me definitely feel safer. But whenever you learn about dying from traumas and stuff or like horrific things, and then it makes sense why you want to like arm yourself.
Oh yeah, because like I don't know, it's weird. And I've always felt that way. Like in my room, everywhere I've lived, I've always kept something by my bed in my room. It's never anywhere else in my house. It's just in my room. I always keep something by my bed. But I think everybody's probably like that. I don't think it's specific to what I went through, but I don't know.
Right. I have this overwhelming regular fear. I haven't asked about it in any of the sessions, but about a house fire in my sleep. And to the point where I like have fire extinguishers next to me and keep them around. And because, like, I don't know, especially back when I was really depressed and had a lot of anxiety and had spiraling intrusive thoughts regularly and didn't know how to control them. That was one of the ones that would keep me awake at night a lot. Was
Oh
what if
yeah.
there's a fire tonight? What if there's a fire and I can't get out? Or worrying about my pets burning up in a fire or something. So I'm sure that's deeply rooted somewhere.
Oh, it's gotta be because like when you have irrational fears and you have plans about stuff, like your
Right.
contingency plans, like it's
Yeah.
fucking rooted somewhere. There's a reason, like
Yeah.
completely. Yeah, because
And this is something from a small child that I recall. I even recall being a young kid telling my mom, well, if there's a fire tonight, then I can do this and I can do that to get away. And so I remember just being like obsessed with that concept as a small child. So,
yeah, because it's like the soul remembers, it's imprinted on you in this human body kind of thing. Because it's the point, you're going through a life with a body so you can experience things. And yeah, like you're definitely remember everything. You're just coming back. It's designed because you have to go through the veil. You have to forget because you have to go through a journey of remembering who you are and where you came from and what you're about.
yeah.
I don't know where I was
Yeah, the
going with
feeling
that.
is just as strong as the obsession I had about driving over a cliff. And then we found out that I had died in a wreck driving over a cliff before. So
Mhm.
it makes sense. It's the same feeling. So I'm sure it's
Well,
something I'm gonna have to dig into eventually.
there was someone that I read, and we were going through stuff. I it wasn't because when I used to read people for my party trick, I was drinking the whole time, so it wasn't like in depth like the sessions we go through now. There was this one time I was drinking with some friends, and I read a friend, she wanted to, know past life stuff, and I really did love, I still do, I love reading people's past lives. It's so much fun. And so I was trying to get stuff, and the guys were in the garage, and so I was like, nothing was coming through, so I was like, I had to go to the bathroom, and I took a break, and that's when everything started coming to me. So I went back and started talking to her, and the guys were gone. So I was thinking, yeah, we just need some peace and quiet to do this. But we discovered that there was a life with her boyfriend. They lived a lot of lives together, but they were never really, things just always stood in the way, like circumstances always stood in the way of them being together. And there was one life where they were both girls, but they were in love, and she died in a car accident. And I saw the scene of this car accident, and I described it to her, and she said, yes, that's exactly what I see in my dreams, exactly that. It looks just like that.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, I was like, damn. And then after that, she told me, she was like, I'm not really scared to drive anymore because I know what really happened. Like, why I have this fear now is because I died in a past life
Mm,
this way, and not that it's going to happen to me again.
right.
Because I have a fear of being burned and going through burn treatment because that shit is fucking painful.
Like I have just this
Mm-mm.
visceral fear of burn treatment, not necessarily having the burns happen. It's the what happens after. And I find out it's because
Wow.
I was pinned under a car and I got burned really badly. And
Mm.
because I was shown this on shrooms one time, I was like freaking out thinking that I was feeling this way because it's my future. And my guides were like, no, no, you're fine. It's your past. And they showed me this is where it's from. And I'm like, oh, all right, thanks.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in, listening to our podcast, and following us into the depths of the subconscious and the unknown.
Into the depths of your soul.
Come find me and book a reading on www.mutablemystic.com. Find me on Facebook at Mutable Mystic. You can find me on Instagram at mutable_mystic. Also, if you'd like to check out any of my music, you can find me on SoundCloud /stay, STE_music.
And you can find me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook under Quantum Healing with Steph Green, and book your own past life regression session, or you can send me a message on Facebook and we could talk about what you have in mind. And don't forget to like, follow, and share the Deep End podcast on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Thanks for tuning in today.
Till we can bend your mind next time. Always remember to ground your feet in the dirt and enjoy life with those gratitude glasses on. Catch us on
The Deep End.
the deep end. Welcome to the deep end.
The Deep End.
The deep end, bro.
Yeah, brah, deep end.
It's deep, man.
The deep end.
Deep End. The Deep End.